Bob, we were just talking to Eric. He was talking a lot about what they need to do to NCAA Tournament and all that. How much do you talk to players about what's out there, what they've got to achieve?
I would say a significant amount of time. I mean, I don't want them to come in to us later and say, I wish you would have told us. If you would have told us, we would have, played harder, been more cognizant of what was in store, whatever.
So what are you telling this team now?
We got to win.
You look at Saturday, if you look at bracketology, I don't know whether that's one of the things you pay attention to. You guys are the first four in, they're the first four out. I mean, it's going to kind of teeter that way the rest of the year. How do you, so basically it comes down to must-wins, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But it's going to be that way the rest of the way out. We need to win. There's no sense lying to them. We need to win.
Talking to Stevenson, he thinks 18 is a good, comfortable number.
Well, being the expert that he is, I don't know why you would ever even think about doubting him.
Well, yeah, but that's, if you look at it, the last time you guys were in this situation in 2012, you got in with 18 wins in the Big East, and we're an 11th seed. That seems to be a reasonable number.
You would think so. You would think that 18 would get us in, and that we're playing in the hardest league in the country. And we played pretty well in the non-conference, but who knows?
To your point, the number 3 team in the ACC I see is an 11 seed right now, and you beat them by 25 on the road.
Mm-hmm. No, our non-conference wins are very good. UAB's playing well. You go right down through the list. I think we played much better in the non-conference. We beat Auburn. You look at our non-conference wins; they're probably better than our conference wins.
Florida, middle of the pack, SEC?
Well, they just had a big win over Tennessee. They just beat Tennessee a couple days ago. Tennessee was, 2 in the country? Yeah. And we didn't just beat them, we significantly beat them. So, yeah, we've got great non-conference ones. We've just stubbed our toe in the conference.
If you go into a season and say, okay, we're probably going to finish with 17, 18 quad one games, or maybe it's more, maybe it's a little less. Do you even try to look at that stuff heading into a season, or do you just kind of study it as the season, is taking place?
Well, you try to make an intelligent decision of who you play.
Right.
You want to play people who are going to be quad one games, particularly in the non-conference.
But you don't want to fill up an entire, 31 game schedule with.
I don't think you can.
Right.
I don't think that's almost not possible anymore.
They don't give you awards for playing the toughest schedule, and the fans never seem to understand the type of schedules you play anyway, right?
One of these days, explain to me what they do understand.
On the post-game radio show after TCU, it sounded like you were unhappy with the leadership of some of your guys. I guess, how do you think they've responded since you got back Wednesday morning or whenever it was?
I think there were a lot of heart-to-heart conversations. They didn't come to play. They know they didn't come to play. We were bad. We had very little enthusiasm. It was a I don't know. I mean, it was you go in, there was nobody in there, and then all of a sudden there were 4,000 students in there. We just didn't step up and meet the challenge. I mean, the truth of the matter is they didn't play very well early either, and then they started making some shots and they played better, and we didn't make any shots and we played worse.
Do you worry about that at all the rest of the year?
What, not making shots?
No, the lack of energy, enthusiasm. I know you got more games at home down the stretch than on the road, but enthusiasm, I guess, could happen, or lack of enthusiasm could happen anywhere, I guess.
Justin, I would hope that they understand the position they put themselves in. We've got enough veteran guys that they should understand. We've got enough guys that have played in NCAA tournaments who should be excited about playing in NCAA tournaments. We got enough guys who a year ago did not. That should be a tremendous motivating factor for them.
Defense, TCU got a lot of buckets at the rim, layups and such. You think that's been a problem all year? Was that a one-game thing? What did you think of your defense, not necessarily this week, but overall?
We haven't been great defensively, but we were horrible. We just didn't make breaks on the ball. We didn't guard the ball. We put no pressure on the ball. We didn't offensive or defensive rebound the ball. It was a very lackluster, I guess, to be kind, very lackluster performance. They didn't seem to have a whole lot of enthusiasm about playing. And then you start out missing shots, and I think that makes it worse.
So is that effort and energy level more noticeable on the defensive end than offense when you have problems with that?
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, it's more noticeable, yes. But the others is noticeable as well. Probably just doesn't stand out as much because the other team's scoring.
What adjustments do you have to make a second time around against Oklahoma? First game, both teams shot the ball very, very well. I don't know if it was maybe the kind of style of play you would have wanted, but just, what do you think having that game back here?
Well, you hope that the building's enthusiastic. Hopefully that the fans show up, the students show up, and there's excitement in the building. That helps considerably. Justin, I don't know if they don't understand the position that they put themselves in now. I don't know that they will ever understand.
Do you do anything different with Groves, the older, big one?
No, just guard him.
They've won 7 in a row against you guys. What's been a common thread in those 7 wins? Pick out one.
I can't remember back that far.
I mean, it seems like when you watch them, they've played with great effort in the games. Maybe not always played perfectly, but seem to get 50-50 balls. I mean, is that accurate?
I honestly don't remember 7 of them. I mean, I think, you know, I mean, the one that to me vividly stands out is when JC just locked up Trey Young. I don't, and it's unusual for me not to recall pretty much what happens. But I've kind of, I guess, blocked it out.
Anything else?
Well, this is psychology, sorry, but Oklahoma lost 3 in a row, and they just smoke Alabama, right? And then just kind of have a bad night at home off of that momentum. It's Oklahoma State, which is a rivalry, I get that, but just kind of what you're talking about with energy and things like that, is it just hard to keep your thumb on things as a coach or a staff, or even like leadership players, as to what you're going to get from a collection of 10, 12, 13 players from a day at a time or a week at a time?
Mike, I don't really have an answer. I wish I did. We don't have a strong leader. We have some guys who talk a lot, but I wouldn't call them strong leaders. We don't have guys like we used to have here, like I had prior, who, when things, you know, guys were going through the motions in practice, they'd stop practice, say, get in here, and I mean, they rip some people's, you know. I mean, I've had guys to the point where they said, listen, man, you're going to get ass whooped when you keep this up. And they meant it. Though we don't have that. So.
Along those lines, talking to Willie Akers at your fish fry, and he said he wished this team had a go-to guy, a reliable go-to guy. Is that important? Is that still meaningful in today's game to have that?
Sure. Sure it is. Probably what you would want is somebody you can throw it close to and score. Because jump shooters are not going to make jump shots all the time. You should make layups. But that being said, think about it. This team has missed an ungodly amount of 1-footers, 2-footers. How many balls have they thrown up there that roll around and off the rim? We've missed an ungodly amount of free throws. We just haven't finished anything. To get it as close as we've gotten it, to be able to drive it at the goal and get it on the rim and then not finish, not offensive rebound it and finish after that. And sometimes we've done that and then missed that and then rebound it and threw it up again and missed another one. And I don't recall that happening. I keep saying, you know, I keep looking at the film. I keep saying, you know, do you have your hand behind the ball? You know, if you got your hand on the side and you throw it up there and you got some spin on it, okay, maybe you understand maybe why it rolled around the rim and went out. We do that some, but I think it's hard to miss when if you have your hand behind the ball and you put it in that square. It's pretty difficult to miss. But somehow we find ways to.
Bob, coaches strive for consistency in their team. if anything consistent about this team is that it hasn't been consistent. I mean, day in and day out, almost, you don't know what you're really going to get out there. How do you approach that? I mean, how do you get consistency out of an inconsistent group?
You know, Bob, I've thought about that, and I think about the future. I think about, okay, we have X amount of guys coming back, and then you have portal guys, and then you have transfer guys, and then you have maybe some good freshmen. Like, you know, our 2 freshmen are good. They're going to be really good players. And if we have a chance to get a couple really good freshmen again, we probably ought to take a couple really good freshmen. But I guess the point is, the mix that you have is not what used to be. You know, you bring in a guy from the portal who may or may not fit in. You bring a transfer in who may or may not fit in. You bring in a couple freshmen. You bring in, you know, you bring back guys, and it's not a good mix. And I don't know what the solution is. I mean, you say you get a guy out of the portal, you want to think that at least you're getting a pretty good guy, or you wouldn't have fooled around with him. I think same thing with a transfer. But that doesn't always work out that way.
It would seem that after 21 games, that would be developing, and yet, again, I'm sure you have no idea what's going to show up there tomorrow.
You know, I don't. The thing we've been consistent in is our inconsistency. I mean, we consistently come out and make a couple shots and then don't make any more. You know, we come out and shoot shots that look good. They go in, and then all of a sudden you're banging them off the front of the rim. We can't get it over the rim. It's just we've been so terribly inconsistent in so many ways. There's been times when defensively we've been, you know, pretty good. And then there's been times when we've been like we didn't even really want to be there. So we don't have a leader. We really don't.
The leader?
I think so. I mean, I know we just don't have that strong leadership. The you know, the guy who drags everybody in and says, you know, this BS got to stop, man, now. And they're good guys. I mean, we don't have bad guys. I mean, we got really good guys. They're good people. I mean, for the most part, they give you some effort. Maybe not quite as much as what you'd want, but we just don't have that. We don't have that hard ass guy that we've had before. We've had guys that would go in the huddle, and I would never have to say a word. You know.
I mean, that's got to come internally. I mean, it can't be the coach. It can't be the coaching that do that. I mean, it's got to come from within the locker room.
You know, Bob, you know, I mean, you've been around this a long time like I have. I mean, it's you have a tendency to turn off the same voice when you hear it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And so you need a new voice. You need a new strong voice that's not the same voice constantly.
Along those lines, leadership, enthusiasm, not making shots, turnovers, defense, you still got a shot to get in the NCAAs, and I guess I'm looking for your opinion here, to go through everything, the obstacles that you guys have gone throughout the season. If you guys get in, say it's a low seed or whatever, what's the benefit?
I'd be surprised if we don't get in.
Okay. But if it's a situation where, 11 seed, 12 seed, you get in, maybe you only play one game. To go through all the stuff that this team's had to go through, to be in a position maybe to only play one game in the NCAA, what would be the benefit of that, I guess is what I'm looking for your opinion on.
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I really honestly don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get in the NCAA tournament. I think we'll win games in the NCAA tournament. I mean, how many, I don't know. But I think we will win games. I think we will advance. You can look at it a couple different ways. You can look at it as it's a new beginning. It's a second chance. It's everybody who goes to college. I mean, they want to play in the NCAA tournament. Hell, I wanted to play in the NCAA tournament. I know that when we went to Indianapolis, I mean, the enthusiasm that our guys had we had great enthusiasm. I guess we win one game and lost the second game, but I don't have any doubt whatsoever, though, that we can get in the NCAA tournament.
Doesn't that sound funny, though, that the journey to get there probably is going to be more difficult than once you're in it? Doesn't that seem odd?
Justin, I mean, if you think about the opportunities that we had, we missed an ungodly amount of 1-2 footers. We had a situation where we had 3 free throws. All we had to do is make 2. We win. We made none. How many times did we go to the line, have 2-shot opportunities, and at best go 1 for 2? I don't know. I don't. Some people don't deal with pressure very well, and if you're unfortunate enough to have those guys at the line, I mean, we had 3 shots. I mean, I put the guy there who's a 6-year player.
Right.
I mean, you would think. And they were all short. They were on line. They were all short. It's I don't know. I mean, how are you supposed to know what people think? And then the Auburn game, and I mean, we played. I mean, we played. We've had a problem throwing the ball around. We throw the ball around at an alarming rate. That's got to get fixed. But I mean, we've done virtually every drill that I know of, and I've been doing this long enough. I know a lot of damn drills. So.
Keaty's ankle, or is he? Keaty's ankle better, same, worse?
About the same. He went yesterday and actually looked better yesterday than what he's looked.
Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone.